My name is Toya Womack, and I'm from Green Acres, Florida.
My name is Jordan Kinsey, and I'm from Tampa, Florida.
3 years ago, my mother passed away from breast cancer, and I never really got a chance to deal with those feelings. I kind of just put them away. And when people hear cancer, they have a misconception that cancer means expiration date, and that's not the truth at all. So by doing stage 5, I wanted to inform people and inform family members that there is life during cancer and after cancer, and also to express my feelings through other people.
I really didn't have any prior knowledge about cancer. It really wasn't around my family, and I didn't really know too many people who had it. So by doing stage 5, I learned a lot about how people with cancer and their family members deal with it. And I hope that the audience will take away from stage 5 is just the impact of it and the effect of it, and just really just how people cope and get through it.
My name is Jade.
I'm Jade.
When a patient is diagnosed with cancer, they go from one doctor to 6 doctors. And I'm kind of like the middle hub to kind of help them get from place to place to place to place in the quickest manner so they can begin treatment from diagnosis and get the best treatment they can get.
Cancer is a group of diseases characterized by the uncontrolled growth and spread of abnormal cells. More than 1.5 million cases will be diagnosed this year, over 100,000 in Florida alone. Every minute, a person dies from cancer.
Cancer, they go in staging. The stages are based on the size of the tumor and the extent of the tumor, whether the tumor is invasive, whether the lymph nodes are involved, or whether it's all over the body.
At first we thought it was a bad sinus problem. We thought it was at first. So I got the phone call. I was at lunch with one of my colleagues, and my doctor called back and said that we got your results back and we think it's cancerous.
So when she had the bronchiolitis weeks prior, she started complaining about her ear was hurting. So I was just thinking, okay, it's just drainage from when she had bronchiolitis. So it was on a Saturday. So I was like, let me take her to the emergency room. Something told me to take her to the emergency room. And when I took her there, he wanted to make sure that there wasn't something else that was causing that, and he decided to listen to her chest. When he listened to her chest, he heard the congestion, but he thought he heard something else, so he ordered for an x-ray. And when he did the x-ray, that's when they found the tumor or the mass in her chest.
Took her to the hospital actually for a stomach virus the first time, and then they said it was pneumonia. Then 3 months later, I took her back again because I'm like, well, she still has this cough and it's hurting her. And the doctor's office was closed on that day. So I took her to the hospital again, and they said it's pneumonia again. So they admitted her, and the doctor said, pneumonia doesn't grow. So we're going to look more into it. So I'm like, okay. So they looked more into it, and come to find out it was a lung sarcoma cancer that she had.
You just gotten told you have cancer, and you think, oh my gosh, what do I do next? What's the plan? You go and have an x-ray and they find a tumor, and then you've got to go get a biopsy of the tumor, and then it's got to be confirmed to be a cancer. Then you have to figure out whether it's surgically removable or not. And if it's surgically removable, then you go to surgery, and then sometimes they want you to do chemotherapy before surgery to shrink the tumor.
So the prognosis was for her to go to our children's hospital to have at the most 4 cycles of chemo, which would have been 2 cycles, and then back to Boston for an MRI for them to check to see, because they wanted to see if the tumor was going to shrink.
And then you go into the next phase, which is the chemotherapy phase, and that's all you do is you take chemotherapy. You suffer the side effects of it.
After you do this, then my name's Kinsey.
Until her hair fell out, but then it started to fall out in pieces, and I was like, no, this kind of makes you feel worse. It made it look worse. So I came home and I was like, we're just gonna go ahead and shave it off. So my sister came up with the idea, and she was like, well, why don't we tell her that the hair fairy will give her money if she can take her hair. So
What?
The hair fairy told me that if Cassie cuts all her hair off, she gets $100.
What you gonna buy?
And then when they did the MRI in Boston, they said she can go ahead and come. We'll go ahead and remove it because there's no point. So luckily we just had to do the 2 cycles, and then they did the surgery to remove it.
He said we're gonna have to do chemotherapy. So I'm like, okay. Well, he was like, you'll talk to an oncologist about that. They'll come and visit you. He was like, my part is over. I said, okay. So about a day later, I met Dr. Gowda, who is her oncologist now. And he came in and he was telling me, he was like, well, we talked to Dr. Black and we sent all her information to Tennessee. So I'm like, okay. I said, but he said, but I'm pretty sure we're going to need to do radiation and chemotherapy. And I'm like, why both? And he was like, because sarcoma, it returns.
What he had to do was Dr. Schamberger at Boston Children's Hospital, and during the process he was saying that he might have to kind of cut pieces of it and remove it in partial pieces just because it was around so many major blood vessels. It was going to be a very it was going to be a very serious surgery for her. But luckily when he was going through or going around it, it came out whole. And he came to me and he said, I don't know how it was like it was handed to him.
On a Tuesday, got your girl number?
It was about the size of a cue ball. So it was pretty big. It was about this big, and in her little body, it really took up majority of the left lung. It was actually pressed against the left lung, and since she probably had it since she was born, that lung really never even grew. It was so shriveled. So when they actually removed it, the lung had to learn how to work on its own.
Because where the cancer was, it was too far back closer to my brainstem, so they didn't want to do it. So they want to go in surgery and mess around with the brainstem. So they said we'll try radiation and chemo.
And then you finish chemotherapy, and then the side effects either get better, or your hair will come back, of course, if you lose your hair, but there are other little side effects that are happening.
Then she started losing her eyelashes and her eyebrows, and I was like, oh, you look cute, Jade, And you try to put little bows, like little headband. She don't want that on her head. So like, Mommy, I want my hair like my brother's.
I want my hot dog. I want my hot dog.
Like, she just don't notice. And then, like, she'll start, like, I'll do my hair. She'll like, Mommy, brush my hair. And I'm like, okay. So I just take a soft brush and put oil sheen on her little bald head and do it. And she's like, thank you.
So you have to get blood test after blood test after blood test, and IV stick and IV stick. So they really try to give you a port nowadays, an infuser port, which is put in here where you're into one of your greater vessels.
Every 3 weeks for 6 months, she went to the hospital, and they did 2 different types of chemo. They had dox and ifosfamide, and they put it through a machine, through the IV bag, look like a regular IV bag, and they put it in her chest. She has a port in her chest, so they won't have to keep sticking her, and then they just access her port by sticking a needle in there and closing it up, make sure she doesn't mess with it.
Radiation therapy is pretty much the end of the cycle, and when you're in radiation therapy, it's like once a day for so many weeks, and then you go in a room and you're exposed, and the areas they mark you and everything, and then and you get really tired from that. It really drains your physical self.
The radiation doctor was like, she was only one. Like he said, I never did radiation on a 1-year-old before. Like, that's going to be difficult because it's going to stop her growth. And he was like, that's worse than chemo. So we was praying, oh Lord, please make sure she don't have to have that, because she just went through everything. Now she has to do this. So they did it, and it was like, well, we're going to put it on hold. He said, because I really don't want to do radiation on her unless I have to.
It fit a mask on your face where the radiation can come through where they want it to come. And the mask is molded and fitted for your face, so it's made to target radiation points like here and here on the sides. and it was put on my face and it snapped in. It goes on like that. It fits my face. It snapped on, and then I go into the radiation chamber, and it's about a half an hour, and it actually burned me. When it was over, I did from September 28th to, no, from July 28th to September 11th, radiation and chemo. Radiation every day. And after it was done, mouth sores, couldn't barely swallow, more loss of weight because you don't eat as much because it hurts to swallow. And my neck, it turned, it peeled like I had a sunburn. It went down to the white meat. It peeled all my skin off. It was very painful.
Death and dying is a hard topic to talk to people about, and each person has to individually go through that process.
Losing her, because she's my girl. I'm sorry, she's just my last baby, so, and I wanted a girl, and then I had her, and this happened, so I don't know. I just hope she be okay. You know, she tough. I don't know how she do it. And I complain about a headache. And I can't imagine the stuff she go through. And you'll never know it. You'll never know she's sick.
I was afraid a little bit in the beginning for my family, but I'm not afraid to die. I lived a good life. I'm 55 years old. My kids have seen, Europe, and my job is taking me places they've never been before. They're 21 through 32, so they're older now to becoming young adults. So hopefully, if God does take me, they're ready.
I had fears that I didn't know what was going to happen. I did not know what was going to happen. I couldn't imagine losing my child, but I remember taking a shower, and I took a shower. In the shower, I just broke down. And when I broke down, I said, God, please spare my child. And I was just like, I just need you to take all of it away. So when I said that to him, I remember hearing a voice say to me, surrender all my fears and I'll take care of you. So that's what I did. I surrendered. I just said, I give it all to you. As soon as I did that, it was such an instant peace. I can't explain that feeling, and I can't explain it to someone that can't take that in, but it was such an instant peace that came upon me, and I never at one time had a fear of my child's life.
Talking to a friend, listen to music, do the things you like to do, and try to avoid things that are going to make you sad.
She likes trucks, I guess, because her brothers, she likes trucks, but she loves trucks. You can't buy a doll baby, she don't want it. But do the baby had no, I want a truck. So she got trucks. She has the kitchen she likes. She likes her dog. That's it. She likes to flip. I was like, oh goodness, Jay. She said she's gonna play football with Jay Dawn. She called Jaden. I said, Jay, you gonna be a cheerleader? No, I'll play football with Jaden. I said, okay. Whatever you want to do.
But I truly believe that she is on this earth for a reason. And I believe that it wasn't a mistake that she ended up having cancer. I believe that she was meant, she was formulated to be the person who she is. And she is formulated to have that energy that she has. And, she touches somebody everywhere she goes. She is just so vibrant and naturally. It's just amazing because when you get pregnant and you have children, you don't really expect for them to change your life the way they do, and you don't really know what their place is going to be on this earth. But when she went through this, I was just like, she's going to do something big, and she's going to touch people's lives, because that girl is just very, 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 very strong. So
Cancer is not fought alone. Family, friends, and loved ones must work together to overcome.
Rally your support system, because you're going to need it. You're going to need your church, you're going to need your family and friends to come rally and help you at some point in time.
My father was diagnosed with cancer at about May or June 2014. 5 or 6 months later, my 3-year-old niece was diagnosed with cancer, stage 2. I feel like some people will go their whole lives with that burden and they look at cancer like cancer, but honestly, you know, I feel it. Cancer has brought my family together in the way, sickest way it sounds, but it has brought us so close that I don't see it going any other way.
Lee, thank you.
Mommy.
Thank you very much.
My granddaughter who was diagnosed, that sometimes hits me a little bit. And she's a bigger warrior than I am. Cassie is really a strong-minded young lady. But I think I'm gonna make it though.